Take a slow breath. Let it fill your chest. Let it reach the parts of you that have not been touched by kindness in a long time. For so many years, you have given love away freely to children, partners, friends, even strangers, and yet withheld it from the one person who needed it most, yourself. You have looked into mirrors and seen only flaws. You have replayed old words, someone's criticism, someone's absence, and believed they were truth. But I want you to pause right here in this quiet moment between heartbeats and remember something sacred. You were never meant to earn your worth. You were born with it. You were enough the first day you opened your eyes. You were enough before anyone taught you how to please, how to prove, how to hide. Somewhere along the way, the world convinced you that love had to be deserved, that you had to do more, become more, give more, to be worthy of it. And so you began the long performance, smiling when you wanted to cry, working when you needed rest, staying silent when your soul begged to speak. Every time you betrayed your own needs, you whispered to your heart, "You don't matter." And the heart, faithful servant that it is, believed you. It shrank, it quieted, began to ache in the places where love should have lived. But listen now, you can teach it new words. You can teach it to expand again. You can teach it to remember its original language, self-love. Every thought we think is shaping our lives. If the voice within you has been unkind, the life around you will mirror that unkindness. But when you begin to speak gently to yourself, the entire universe softens in response. You do not have to heal everything in one day. You do not have to erase the past. You only have to begin treating yourself the way you always needed to look in the mirror and say, "I am enough." Let the words feel strange. Let them wobble in your mouth. The child within you has not heard them in years. She may not believe you yet, but she is listening. Every repetition is a new heartbeat, a new rhythm of acceptance. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine her, the little one you used to be. See her face before she learned to doubt. See the sparkle in her eyes before shame dimmed it. She is still inside you, waiting for your attention, waiting for you to reach down, hold her hand, and whisper, "I love you. I'm here now." When you speak to yourself with love, you are rewriting every story that ever said you were not enough. You are healing generations of silence. You are turning old pain into understanding, and understanding into peace. Maybe you've spent years chasing approval grades, compliments, applause, love that had to be earned. But the truth is this: approval fades, self-love endures. The people who once couldn't see your light were simply facing their own darkness. Their inability to love you was never a reflection of your worth. It was a reflection of their wound. Forgive them not because they were right, but because you deserve freedom. Forgive yourself for believing their voices more than your own. Forgive the years you spent being cruel to yourself in the name of self-improvement. Loving yourself does not mean you stop growing. It means you grow from gentleness, not guilt. It means you look at your mistakes and say, "I am learning." It means you treat your body as your ally, not your enemy. Your mind is your friend, not your judge. Right now, place your hand over your heart. Feel its rhythm. It has never given up on you. No matter how many times you've spoken against yourself, it has continued to beat, whispering, "I want to live. I want to love." Say these words softly, as if they were medicine. I am enough. I am lovable exactly as I am. I release the belief that I must earn love. I choose to approve of myself. Life loves me, and I love life in return. Let each sentence sink deeper than the last. Feel your shoulders. Drop your breath ease. This is what it feels like to come home to yourself. Self-love is not vanity, it is sanity. It is the foundation upon which all healing stands. When you love yourself, your relationships transform, your body relaxes, your mind becomes creative and clear. You no longer beg for what is already yours, you attract it naturally. Imagine walking through your day carrying this truth. I am enough. You enter rooms without shrinking. You make choices without guilt. You speak with honesty and rest without apology. That is the quiet power of a woman who loves herself. You may wonder, will it last? Will I always feel this peace? The answer is, it lasts as long as you practice. Self-love is a daily devotion. Each morning you renew the vow. I will not abandon myself today. There will still be moments of doubt. That's human. But instead of believing the doubt, you will hold it gently and say, thank you for trying to protect me, but I choose love. That is mastery, that is healing. Louise used to remind us, you've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. Those words remain a map. The way out of pain is not punishment, it is permission. Permission to rest, permission to forgive, permission to shine. So today, choose to love yourself the way you always needed. Speak kindly to your reflection. Feed your mind words of appreciation. Wrap your body in gratitude for all it has carried. Let your heart know that it is safe to open again. And when the old voice returns, the one that says you're not enough, smile at it like an old friend and whisper, I am now. Because you are, you always were. And the moment you remember that truth, life itself begins to rise up to meet you, echoing the same sacred affirmation, you are enough. You have always been enough. And you are loved completely, eternally, unconditionally. There was a time when I believed my worth depended on how much I could do, how well I could please, how perfectly I could perform. And like many of you, I learned early that love was something to be earned. A smile for good behavior, a frown for failure. Approval became the measure of safety, and in those moments when I fell short, I felt invisible. No one needed to tell me I wasn't enough. I had already decided it for myself. Yet somewhere deep beneath all those layers of expectation and effort, the truth never disappeared. It only waited. You were born with value. Before you spoke your first word, before you proved a single thing, you were already worthy of love. Look at any newborn child and you will see this truth reflected in their calmness. They do not ask, am I enough? They simply are. They breathe, they cry, they stretch into life, trusting that life will hold them. As we grow, we forget this natural trust. The world begins to tell us that our value lies in being pleasing, productive, perfect. We are praised for our grades, our looks, our achievements, and scolded when we falter. Slowly, we begin to trade authenticity for approval. We start to perform. We smile when we want to cry. We agree when we long to say no. We silence ourselves to be liked, to belong. And little by little, the voice inside that once whispered, I am enough, becomes faint. But that voice never disappears. It still lives within you, waiting for recognition. The task of self-healing is not to create worth, it is to remember it. You were never broken. You were only taught to believe you were. Every unkind thought about yourself is simply an echo of old misunderstanding, and every new loving thought is a bridge home to truth. When I first began to speak about self-love, people would ask, isn't that selfish? And I would smile and say, no, it is sanity. Loving yourself does not make you selfish, it makes you whole. You cannot truly give from an empty vessel. You cannot uplift others while sinking in. Self-condemnation. When you nourish your own soul, you become a wellspring of compassion for the world. Self-rejection is a habit formed from misunderstanding. It grows from the false belief that perfection brings love. But life does not demand perfection. It asks for presence. It asks that you show up as you are. Each time you criticize yourself, you drain your strength. Each time you approve of yourself, you awaken it. Approval is the language of life. Everything in nature flourishes through recognition. Speak kindly to a plant and it grows. Speak kindly to yourself and you bloom. The child within you still longs to hear those words she once needed. You are good enough. You do not need to fix her. You only need to listen. She is innocent. She only learned the wrong lesson. Sit quietly with her in your mind. See her face before the world told her she was too much or not enough. Tell her now what she has been waiting to hear. You are precious. You are loved. You are enough. It is easy to see value in others, but difficult to see it in ourselves. We admire another's courage, beauty, kindness, and forget that those same qualities live within us. When you say, "I am not enough," you are denying life's own handiwork. You are arguing with creation itself. But when you say, "I am enough," you are agreeing with life, affirming that you and life are on the same side. Notice how you speak to yourself throughout the day. Every thought is a seed planted in the garden of your mind. Some seeds bear fruit, others bear thorns. When you tell yourself, "I am hopeless," your body contracts, your energy dims, your future narrows. When you tell yourself, "I am learning," your breath deepens, your heart opens, your life expands. Choose the seeds of kindness. They grow fastest. Self-worth is not arrogance. Arrogance shouts, "I am better than others." Self-worth whispers, "I belong among them." Arrogance separates, love connects. True. Self-worth does not need comparison. It simply is. You do not become smaller by seeing another's light. You remember your own by recognizing theirs. The first step toward healing is deciding that you are already enough, not someday, not when you lose the weight, earn the degree, or find the partner. Now, the present moment is your birthplace of freedom. When you decide that you are enough, you stop waiting to live. You begin to participate in your own joy. You begin to move through the world as though life were your ally, and it is. You may ask, "But how do I believe it when I don't feel it?" Begin by acting as if it were true. The mind is a faithful servant. It learns through repetition. Say it aloud, "I am enough." Even if your voice trembles, say it. Even if tears come, say it. Each repetition builds a bridge between what you think and what you know. The heart will follow in time. Stand before your mirror each morning. Look into your own eyes. You might see tiredness, regret, or fear, but keep looking. Beyond those surface reflections is the soul that has never wavered in loving you. Say softly, "I love and approve of myself exactly as I am." Say it again and again until your reflection softens, until your eyes begin to glisten with understanding. That is your true self recognizing your own voice. When you forget your worth, remember this: you are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are not what anyone failed to see in you. You are the living expression of divine intelligence, perfectly imperfect, endlessly learning, infinitely loved. Life does not create mistakes. It creates experiences through which we remember our power. If you struggle to believe these words, let me believe them for you until you can. I have seen what happens when people choose to love themselves even a little. Their faces soften, their bodies heal, their lives unfold in harmony. The outer world always rearranges itself to match the truth we hold within. So, begin here. Begin now. Place your hand over your heart and speak gently. "I am enough." Feel how the rhythm beneath your palm agrees with you. Your heart has never doubted your value. It only waits for your permission to remind you. Each beat says yes, yes, yes. You do not need to strive to become worthy of love. You need only to allow yourself to receive it. The love you have sought from others has been knocking from within all along. When you open the door, you discover that you were never unloved, you were only unlistening. From this moment forward, practice listening. Speak kindly to yourself. Celebrate small steps. Offer patience to your growth. You are not behind, you are right on time. Life has been waiting for you to remember your worth so it can reveal its love. Now, as you stand at the threshold of this day, take one more breath and repeat, I am enough. Let it echo softly through your being. Let it become the truth that carries you forward, because you are. You always were, and you always will be. Close your eyes for a moment, dear one, and picture yourself as a child. See the softness of your face, the way your eyes sparkled before they learned to look for danger. Feel the smallness of your hands reaching for love without question. You came into this world ready to trust, ready to give, ready to receive. You were not afraid of your feelings. You laughed when you felt joy and cried when you felt pain. You did not yet believe you had to earn affection. You simply existed, and in existing, you were loved. Somewhere along the way, something changed. A word, a look, a silence, it does not take much to plant the seed of doubt. Perhaps someone you loved was too busy, too tired, or too wounded themselves to offer the tenderness you needed. Perhaps you were scolded when you reached for comfort, or told that crying was weakness. Maybe you heard, be good, and thought it meant be perfect. These are small moments, but to a child, they feel enormous. They become the first lessons about love and worth. I have met so many people whose hearts were broken not by great tragedies, but by quiet neglect, the absence of kindness when it was most needed. The child inside you remembers those moments. She remembers the day she stopped asking for help because help did not come. She remembers deciding, if I am good enough, maybe they will love me. That thought, though innocent, became the beginning of self-betrayal. We grow up, but that wounded child does not disappear. She lives within us still, trying to make sense of why love felt conditional. She becomes the part of you that works too hard, apologizes too quickly, fears rejection, and hides her needs. She is the one who still flinches at criticism, who feels unworthy of rest, who whispers, something must be wrong with me. You do not need to silence her, you need to listen. Her pain is not your enemy, it is your invitation to heal. When you listen to her with compassion, you begin to reverse the old lessons. You realize that those who could not love you as you needed were acting from their own wounds. Hurt people cannot teach love until they have learned it themselves. When you see this, forgiveness begins not to excuse their behavior, but to release its hold on your heart. Forgiveness says, I understand now, you did not know how to do better. And in that understanding, the cycle ends. Many people resist reconnecting with their inner child because they fear what they will find. They imagine endless tears, endless anger, but what you will find is not brokenness, it is longing. The child does not want you to fix her. She wants you to notice her, to say, I see you, I hear you, I am here now. That is enough. The moment you say those words, she begins to relax. Her tight fists unclench. Her heart begins to trust again. Take a quiet moment each day to visit her in your imagination. Sit with her in a place that feels safe, a garden, a sunlit room, a gentle memory. Let her speak freely. She may tell you she's afraid of being alone or that she feels invisible. Listen without trying to correct. When she finishes, hold her hand and say, you did nothing wrong. You were always enough. You deserve love, and I am here to give it to you. That single act of attention can heal what years of neglect created. As you begin to reparent this inner child, you may notice tenderness, rising tears, warmth, a sudden softness in the chest. This is the heart waking. It is remembering how to feel safely again. Allow it. Every emotion you once buried is trying to return to the light where it can dissolve. Cry if you need to. Laugh if you can. Healing does not happen in silence. It happens through expression, through honesty, through love. There is great power in replacing punishment with understanding. You may remember moments when you made mistakes and were met with anger instead of compassion. Now you can rewrite those moments. Tell your younger self, it's all right. You were learning, you were growing. Imagine wrapping your arms around her and feeling her body soften against yours. That is the embrace she has been waiting for. That is what true healing feels like. When guilt arises, and it will treat it gently. Guilt is only an old voice saying, you should have known better, but how could you have? You were learning life for the first time. You can release that voice now. Replace guilt with grace. Grace says, I forgive the child I was for not understanding what she could not yet know. Every time you offer yourself grace, the wound shrinks a little more. The beauty of healing the inner child is that she brings gifts with her when she feels safe again. She brings laughter, creativity, curiosity. She reminds you how to play, how to trust, how to marvel at simple things. When she feels loved, she no longer needs to protect herself with perfection. She no longer fears mistakes because she knows they will be met with kindness. And in that freedom, your adult self begins to feel lighter too. You may notice that the more love you give your inner child, the more naturally you begin to love others. Compassion expands outward. You start to see the wounded child in everyone, the colleague who criticizes, the friend who withdraws, the stranger who seems angry. You recognize their pain because you have befriended your own. This recognition does not make you superior. It makes you understanding. It allows you to meet others with gentleness instead of judgment. To help this healing grow, try a simple visualization each morning. Imagine yourself standing beside the child you once were. See her smiling at you, her eyes full of trust. Place your hand in hers and say aloud, I will never abandon you again. We are safe now. We are loved. Feel the truth of those words settling deep within you. As you move through the day, carry that promise like a quiet rhythm in your heart. You are not alone. You are walking hand in hand with your own innocence. When you begin to live from that place, the world feels different. Situations that once triggered shame begin to soften. You no longer need to prove your worth or earn affection. You begin to understand that every act of self-compassion ripples outward, changing the tone of your entire life. Your relationships grow warmer, your choices kinder, your days more peaceful. The child within you has finally been heard. Remember, healing is not about rewriting the past, it is about releasing it. You cannot go back and change what happened, but you can change what it means to you. You can transform every painful memory into a doorway to love. Every time you offer yourself kindness where there was once shame, you reclaim another piece of your wholeness. So, take another breath, my dear. Feel that breath reach the smallest parts of your being, the parts that once hid in fear. Whisper to them, softly, you did nothing wrong. You were always enough. Let that truth settle where the old pain used to live. The wound becomes light. The past loses its hold. And the child within you, finally at peace, begins to smile. Because she knows now, as you are learning to know, that love was never lost. It was only waiting for you to come home and remember. There is a voice that lives inside each of us. For many, it is not a kind voice. It whispers of failure, compares, corrects, blames. It tells us what we should have done, what we should be, what we are not. It is the voice we inherited from the world, the one that echoes old disapprovals, old fears. Most of us mistake it for truth. But that voice is only a memory wearing the mask of authority. When you learn to recognize it for what it is, you can finally replace it with something gentler, wiser, more loving. I used to believe that if I were hard on myself, I would improve faster. That criticism was discipline and that love would make me weak. But I learned through living and through watching others heal that harshness never creates lasting change. You can frighten yourself into obedience, but not into peace. Criticism may force compliance, but it cannot build self-respect. Every unkind word you speak to yourself is a seed of fear planted in your own heart. Think for a moment about how often you scold yourself in a day. For being late, for forgetting, for saying too much or too little. We speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to a friend, a child, or even a stranger. And yet, the body listens. It tightens when you say, I can't do anything right. It sinks when you sigh, I'm so stupid. Each thought carries weight. Each insult becomes a burden. When you learn to replace these words with approval, you will feel the body lighten as if released from invisible chains. I once said you've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. I still believe that to be one of the greatest truths I have ever discovered. Self-approval is not vanity, it is nourishment. When you approve of yourself, you are feeding your spirit the way sunlight feeds flowers. Growth follows naturally. Approval creates safety, and in safety, all things bloom. The inner critic is not evil. It is frightened. It was born in moments when you were blamed or shamed and decided that if you scolded yourself first, maybe others wouldn't. It learned to attack as protection. But protection built on fear becomes a prison. The voice that once tried to save you has forgotten its true purpose. It does not need to be destroyed, it needs to be retrained. The same energy that once condemned can be taught to comfort. Begin by listening without judgment. When the critical voice speaks, do not argue with it, observe it. Ask quietly, whose voice is this? You may find that it sounds like a parent, a teacher, someone who once held power over you. Realize that you are no longer that small child receiving instruction. You are the loving adult now, and you can choose which words to keep. Not every thought that passes through your mind deserves your belief. When you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, pause and breathe. Imagine you are comforting a child who has just fallen. You would not say, how foolish of you. You would say, it's all right, sweetheart. Everyone falls sometimes. Speak to yourself the same way. Each gentle response teaches your mind that safety does not require punishment. Soon, the critic grows quieter because it feels understood. The body reveals everything the mind believes. Notice how it reacts to your thoughts. When you scold yourself, your shoulders hunch, your chest tightens, your stomach knots. When you offer yourself kindness, your breath deepens, your face softens, your heartbeat steadies. The body is your most honest mirror. It cannot lie. It shows you instantly whether your thoughts are healing or harmful. Let it guide you toward compassion. Affirmations are one of the simplest ways to re-educate the inner voice. Speak to yourself in the language you wish the world had used. Say, I am doing the best I can. Say, I learn and grow from every experience. Say, I am worthy of patience and kindness. At first, these words may feel foreign, but repetition turns them into truth. Every time you repeat an affirmation, you are building new pathways of thought, teaching your mind to return home to love. Self-compassion is not indulgence, it is strength. A compassionate mind does not excuse harmful behavior, it transforms it. When you meet your mistakes with understanding instead of shame, you open the door to genuine change. Shame freezes, compassion moves. The same light that reveals also heals. When you bring light to your own darkness, it dissolves quietly without struggle. If you wish to change your life, begin with your words. Speak to yourself as someone you are responsible for encouraging. You do not improve by criticism. You evolve by care. Each approving thought is a small act of repair, a thread of gold woven into the fabric of your being. In time, those golden threads form a new pattern, one of self-respect and inner peace. Forgive yourself for the years you believed you had to be harsh to be strong. Forgive yourself for not knowing that gentleness is power. Each moment of awareness is a new beginning. You can start again right now, in this breath, by saying softly, I approve of myself. Feel how the body responds, how your heart steadies. That single sentence can calm storms. When you begin to speak kindly to yourself, something extraordinary happens. The world begins to echo your new tone. Others treat you with the same respect you grant yourself. Situations that once drained, you lose their pull. Opportunities that match your worth appear effortlessly. The universe mirrors your internal conversation. So practice this daily. When the old voice arises, thank it for trying to protect you, and then gently replace its words. Let your mind become a place where kindness lives. Let your thoughts become friends, not enemies. Let your inner dialogue become a soft current, carrying you forward instead of an undertow pulling you down. Each approving thought strengthens the truth. You are worthy, you are growing, you are doing beautifully. Remember, your thoughts are the builders of your world. Construct your world with compassion, and it will become a sanctuary. You are not at war with yourself anymore. You are coming home to peace, and in that peace, life begins to cooperate in ways you could never have imagined. So take a deep breath now, and let this be your quiet affirmation for today and every day. I speak to myself with love. I am learning. I am enough. Let those words become your constant companions. They will never lead you astray. There is a reason I speak so often about the mirror. It is not a tool of vanity, it is a teacher of truth. For many years, I avoided mirrors. I did not want to see the disappointment reflected there. I was afraid of my own gaze because I thought it would confirm all the unkind things I believed about myself. But when I finally had the courage to look, to really look, I discovered that the mirror was not my enemy. It was the friend who had been waiting patiently to love me back. The mirror shows us what we think about ourselves, not what we truly are. When we stand before it, we do not see our face, we see our thoughts projected upon it. One day we might look and think, you look lovely. The next, the same face seems tired or wrong. What changed? Not the face, the thoughts. The mirror reveals the mind. It tells the truth about our inner dialogue. And if that truth feels painful, that is a call to change the dialogue, not the reflection. At first, mirror work can be uncomfortable. Many people tell me, Louise, I can't look myself in the eye. And I always say, then that is where your healing begins. When you avoid your reflection, you are avoiding the relationship that matters most, the one with yourself. But when you meet your own eyes, you begin to bridge the distance between your head and your heart. You begin to remember that the person in the mirror is not your problem. She is your student, your friend, your beloved. When you begin this practice, stand quietly in front of the mirror. Breathe. Let your body relax. Then look into your eyes, not at your hair, your skin, or your flaws, but into your eyes. The eyes are the windows of the soul. Look past the surface into the being that has been with you through every joy and sorrow. See her endurance, see her innocence, see her trying. And say softly, I love and approve of you exactly as you are. At first, your mind may rebel. It will say, no, you don't. You can't mean that. That's all right. That is just the echo of old lessons rising to be released. Do not argue with the resistance. Bless it. Smile at it and repeat your words. You are not lying. You are telling a deeper truth that the surface mind has forgotten. The part of you that knows truth will recognize it immediately. Sometimes tears come. Let them. They are the heart's way of washing away the pain of years of self-rejection. Sometimes laughter bubbles up unexpectedly. Let it. It means your soul is remembering joy. And sometimes there is only stillness, a sense of peace so profound you can hardly breathe. That is love settling in, taking its rightful place within you. Repeat your affirmations daily. Morning is best because it sets the tone for the day, but any time is good. Look into your own eyes and say, I am worthy of love. I forgive myself for the past. I am willing to grow. The mirror will reflect not just your face, but your progress. As the days pass, you will notice your features softening, your expression brightening. It is not magic, it is self-acceptance, transforming your very energy. If you find this practice difficult, begin gently. Even a few seconds of eye contact is enough to start. Each day, stay a little longer. Each day, speak a little kinder. You are learning a new language, the language of love. And like any language, it becomes fluent through use. Remember, you have spent years criticizing yourself. That voice is strong only because it has been practiced. The mirror is your classroom for learning a new habit, approval. Every time you look with kindness instead of judgment, you rewrite the pattern. You teach your subconscious that safety comes from love, not attack. The mirror can also be a place of forgiveness. Look at your reflection and say, I forgive you for all the times you doubted your worth. I forgive you for the ways you tried to survive. Feel how your body exhales as you say these words. Forgiveness releases tension that criticism cannot reach. It melts shame into compassion. This practice does not require belief at the start, only willingness. You might think, but I don't feel love when I say these words. That is all right. You are planting seeds. You would not dig up a seed every day to see if it is growing. You would trust the process. The same is true here. Speak the words daily, water them with faith, and watch your heart blossom. The mirror reveals more than self-image. It reveals the mind's power. When you say, I love you, to your reflection, you are reprogramming the mind to create harmony. The subconscious accepts repetition as instruction. Each affirmation becomes a command to the cells, the organs, the nerves. Relax. You are safe. You are loved. The body responds in kind. I have seen people's lives change entirely through this simple act. Relationships soften, finances improve, health returns. Why? Because everything in life mirrors our relationship with ourselves. When you make peace with the image in the mirror, the outer world follows. Let your mirror become a sacred altar, not an instrument of judgment. Stand before it with reverence. Light a candle if you wish, or simply bring your presence. Good morning, dear. I am glad you are here. Say, I am proud of how far you have come. Let your reflection become a companion in your healing, not a reminder of your mistakes. When you practice this daily, something subtle and magnificent begins to happen. Your eyes change. They become gentler, more luminous. You see through the surface to the soul, and the soul looks back with gratitude. You begin to realize that you have never been alone. You have always had yourself waiting patiently for your love. Even if you skip a day, the mirror remembers. It waits for you like an old friend. Each return is a homecoming. In time, you will not dread your reflection. You will look forward to it. You will stand before it and see not flaws, but a life well lived, a heart still growing, a spirit that refuses to give up. This is what self-love looks like. Not arrogance, not pride, but peace. The peace of knowing that you and life are on the same side. The peace of looking at your reflection and thinking, yes, this is me and I am enough. So tomorrow morning when you rise, go to your mirror. Look yourself in the eyes and say with tenderness, I love and approve of myself exactly as I am. Stay until you feel even a flicker of warmth. That flicker is the light of truth returning. Let it grow day by day until your mind, your heart, and your reflection are all in agreement. And when they are, you will understand what I mean when I say the mirror does not lie, it reveals love. There was a time when I believed my body was my enemy. When it hurt, I resented it. When it tired, I scolded it. I demanded that it look a certain way, feel a certain way, move a certain way, and when it didn't, I thought it had betrayed me. But the truth I discovered through years of healing and observation is that the body never betrays us, it only obeys us. It listens to every word, every emotion, every belief, and faithfully reflects what it hears. Every cell in your body is a living consciousness. Each one responds to your thoughts as flowers respond to sunlight. When you say, I am strong, I am well, I am loved, your cells listen and open. When you say, I am weak, I am tired, I am sick, they listen to and they contract, trying to protect you from the pain your words predict. The body is always listening. The question is, what are we teaching it? Many people speak to their bodies only in complaint. They say, my back always hurts, or I have a terrible stomach, or I'm getting old. They do not realize that these words are commands. Each complaint is a form of instruction, a blueprint for the body to follow. The subconscious takes everything literally. It does not question, it creates. If you tell your body you are broken, it will show you proof. But if you tell it you are healing, it will rise to the task. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I realized how harshly I had spoken to myself for years. I had carried anger and guilt that manifested in my body as illness. That realization did not fill me with fear, it filled me with hope. Because if my thoughts could make me sick, then my thoughts could also make me well. And so I began to speak differently. Each day I told my body, I love you. Thank you for carrying me through this life. You are doing beautifully. Slowly, gently, my body began to believe me. Healing followed not because I fought the disease, but because I stopped fighting myself. Your body is your closest companion. It has never abandoned you. It has stayed through every joy and sorrow, every sleepless night, every tear, every laugh. It asks so little in return, only love. The body does not thrive on criticism. It thrives on appreciation. Begin today to speak to it with kindness. When you wake, place your hand on your heart and say, good morning, my dear body. Thank you for this new day. Feel the warmth of your own touch, the rhythm of your breath. Gratitude is the greatest healer. Resentment, guilt, and fear are the heaviest burdens the body can carry. They poison the bloodstream of thought long before they reach the bloodstream of blood. But forgiveness cleanses them all. When you forgive, the body exhales. It releases the toxins of anger and invites harmony. Forgiveness is the sweetest medicine because it restores the natural flow of life through every system, every organ, every cell. If you have spent years telling your body it is too large, too small, too weak, too old, begin again. Stand before the mirror, place your hand over the part you've criticized most, and say, I love you exactly as you are. The cells beneath your hand will respond. You may not feel it at first, but they are listening. Love always lands, even if quietly. Repeat these words often enough, and the body will change, not from punishment, but from permission. It will become radiant, relaxed, cooperative. It will return to balance, because love restores balance. Do not say, I am sick. Say, I am in the process of healing. Do not say, I am exhausted. Say, I am ready for rest. Language is the bridge between mind and body. Choose words that encourage harmony. The body wants to serve you. It simply needs clear, loving instruction. When you are in pain, instead of fighting the pain, ask it softly, what are you trying to tell me? Pain is not cruelty, it is communication. It says something in your thinking has been unkind. Please listen. Thank it for its message, then affirm, I am willing to release this pattern. Pain is not punishment. It is the body's way of asking for love, where fear has been living. Forgiveness toward the self has the power to cure what medicine cannot name. When the mind stops attacking, the immune system can finally rest. The body knows how to heal. It simply needs a peaceful environment. That environment begins in thought. Peace of mind is the truest medicine there is. No tonic, no treatment, no regimen can replace the healing that comes when you are gentle with yourself. Begin to thank your body for its devotion. Thank your feet for carrying you. Thank your lungs for filling with air. Thank your heart for beating tirelessly through every emotion. Gratitude releases endorphins and strengthens the bond between you and your physical form. The body longs to be seen, appreciated, trusted. It has always been on your side. The more you love your body, the more it loves you back. You will feel it in small ways first, the ease in your shoulders, the deepness of your sleep, the lightness in your step. This is not imagination. This is alignment. Love is the most natural vibration in the universe. When you match it, healing flows effortlessly. Every illness begins with a thought pattern, and every recovery begins with a new one. If fear created the imbalance, love will restore it. There is no wound too deep, no ache too old that love cannot reach. The body is made of life itself, and life's instinct is always toward healing. Even aging can be met with gentleness. Do not curse your years, bless them. Each line on your face is a poem written by time. Each ache is a reminder of life lived fully. Say to your reflection, I accept this body as my perfect vehicle for growth. Acceptance stops decay by ending resistance. The body thrives on cooperation. If you wish to feel younger, speak to your body as you would to a beloved child. Tell it you are safe now. You can relax. You are doing wonderfully. When the body feels safe, it releases energy that was trapped in tension. You begin to glow, not from cosmetics, but from peace. There is nothing more beautiful than a person at peace with their own being. Your health is not a mystery, it is a conversation. Every symptom is a word in that dialogue. Listen, answer with love, and watch as harmony returns. Your thoughts and feelings are the language through which you write your physical story. Choose sentences of healing. Choose chapters of forgiveness. Choose love as the author of your body's next chapter. So today, as you move through your hours, remember, you are living inside a miracle. The same intelligence that keeps the stars in orbit keeps your heart beating. The same love that moves oceans moves your blood. You are not separate from this wisdom. You are its expression. Treat your body as holy ground, for it is. It is the temple where your spirit meets the earth. Whisper to it often. You are loved, you are safe, you are healing, and it will answer you not in words, but in ease, in energy, in the quiet harmony of well-being. Because the body, when loved, always listens. And love, when spoken sincerely, always heals. For many years, I believed that if I held on to my anger, it would somehow protect me, that my resentment was justice, that my pain kept me safe. I thought if I forgive, it means what happened was all right. But forgiveness does not say it was all right. It says I will not suffer for it any longer. The moment I understood that truth, my entire life began to change. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It is about you, your peace, your health, your freedom. When you carry resentment, you carry poison. It burns not the one who hurt you, but the one who holds it. The body tightens around bitterness, the heart hardens. We relive the hurt again and again long after the event has passed. We repeat the story, rehearse the anger, and wonder why we feel so heavy. But life cannot flow through a clenched fist. To forgive is to open the hand, to release the stone of blame, to let love circulate once more. There is a beautiful truth I have witnessed again and again. When we forgive, the body relaxes, the face softens, the breath deepens. The cells themselves seem to sigh with relief. Every grudge you drop frees energy for living. Every old hurt you release creates room for joy. Forgiveness restores harmony, not just in the heart, but in the flesh. It is the bridge between disease and ease. You may think, but they don't deserve my forgiveness. And perhaps they don't. But you do. You deserve to live unchained. You deserve mornings that are not haunted by yesterday. You deserve nights of rest untroubled by old memories. Forgiveness is not a gift to the one who hurt you. It is a gift to the one who is ready to heal. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting another to die. It is a slow self-punishment disguised as strength. But true strength is gentleness. It is the courage to lay down the sword and say, I will not harm myself with your memory any longer. When you say, I forgive you, you are not excusing an act, you are releasing an attachment. You are cutting the invisible cord that has bound you to pain. Begin by forgiving in thought, even if the heart is not ready. You can start with a simple prayer. I release you. I let you go. I choose peace instead. Say it to the memory, to the face in your mind, to the version of yourself who suffered. Say it as often as needed. Forgiveness is rarely one moment. It is a practice, a gradual loosening of the past. Some days the resentment may return. Meet it with the same words again. Each repetition weakens its power. You may wonder, how can I forgive what feels unforgivable? Start small. Forgive the person who cut you off in traffic, the friend who forgot your birthday, the colleague who spoke sharply. These small acts of release strengthen your capacity to forgive larger hurts. Forgiveness, like love, grows stronger through use. Often, the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. We carry quiet guilt for things we did, not know better than to do. We replay moments when we spoke harshly, made poor choices, trusted the wrong person, ignored our intuition. But guilt serves no healing purpose. It keeps us chained to the past. You did what you knew then, now you know more. That is how growth works. Say to yourself, I forgive you for not knowing. I forgive you for trying to survive. Let those words be a balm to the soul. When you forgive yourself, you stop teaching others how to punish you. The world mirrors your inner law. As you replace guilt with grace, life becomes gentler. You will notice that others begin to treat you differently, not because they have changed, but because you have. When you stop demanding punishment, the universe stops supplying it. Sometimes forgiveness feels impossible because we confuse it with forgetting. You do not have to forget to be free. You can remember and release at the same time. You can carry the lesson without carrying the pain. The memory can remain, but the sting can fade. When you think of the person or event instead of pain, you may feel neutrality, perhaps even compassion. That is when you will know forgiveness has taken root. There is also another truth. Everyone who has ever hurt you was doing the best they could with the consciousness they had. Their actions were not right, but they were expressions of their pain, their fear, their unhealed wounds. Understanding this does not excuse them, it liberates you. You no longer need to take their behavior personally. You can let life handle their lessons while you move forward in peace. If you find forgiveness difficult, write a letter you will never send. Pour out every hurt, every disappointment, then end it with the words, "I now release you and set myself free." Bless the letter with love and destroy it, burn it, tear it, bury it. The ritual itself has power. It signals to your mind that the burden has been lifted. Every time you destroy resentment in thought, you make room for light to enter. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is wisdom. It says, I choose peace over pain. I choose love over fear. You are never a victim when you forgive. You are the one reclaiming authorship of your story. And once you reclaim it, the past loses its power to define you. I have witnessed miracles unfold when forgiveness enters the heart. Tumors dissolve. Estranged families reunite. Lifelong anxiety disappears overnight. It is as though the energy once spent holding anger must, by nature, transform into something beautiful when released. That is the law of love. It always restores balance. And remember this, dear one, forgiveness is not an act you perform once. It is a way of living. Each day, you will be given opportunities to choose between holding and releasing, between judgment and understanding. Each time you choose release, you grow lighter. Each time you choose love, you grow freer. Eventually, forgiveness becomes your natural state. Your heart refuses to carry anything heavy for long. Before you sleep tonight, place your hand over your heart and whisper, I release all resentment. I forgive myself and all others. I am free. Feel the warmth of your own touch, the gentleness of your own voice. That warmth is healing in motion. That gentleness is power reclaiming its place. Tomorrow, when old thoughts arise, you will notice they have less force. The edges will have softened. This is how freedom feels, not dramatic, but peaceful. Forgiveness does not come with fireworks. It comes with quiet mornings and easy breaths. And in that peace, you will realize something extraordinary. Forgiveness was never about changing the past. It was about freeing the present. When the present is free, the future opens wide. You are no longer the one who was hurt. You are the one who learned to love again. So breathe deeply and say with conviction, I release you, I release the past, I am free. Because that is what forgiveness truly is, freedom returning home to love. There comes a beautiful turning point in every healing journey when the act of loving yourself stops feeling like an effort and starts feeling like a way of being. When you no longer have to remind yourself that you are enough, because the truth has taken root so deeply that it guides every breath, every step, every word. This is what I call living from enoughness. It is the quiet joy of walking through life knowing you belong to yourself. To live from enoughness means to stop striving for worth and start living from it. You no longer wake each morning with the question, how can I prove myself today? Instead, you wake with gratitude, how can I express who I already am? The energy changes completely. You are no longer chasing love, you are radiating it. You are no longer building your value, you are allowing it to shine. When you know you are enough, comparison loses its power. You can admire others without feeling diminished. Someone else's success becomes a reminder of what is possible, not proof of what you lack. The world transforms from a competition into a community. There is no need to measure yourself against anyone when you finally understand that your worth is not measured, it is inherent. Confidence is the natural child of self-approval. You do not have to force it. It grows quietly in the garden of acceptance. When you approve of yourself, Your energy changes. You enter rooms without shrinking, speak without apology, rest without guilt. You stop negotiating your boundaries or over-explaining your choices. You know that being true to yourself is not selfish, it is sacred. You begin to make choices from self-respect rather than fear. You say no when you mean no, yes when you mean yes. You no longer betray your own needs for the sake of harmony because you realize that true harmony includes you. You become honest, not harsh, open, not exposed. This is the grace of enoughness it brings. Balance where there was once sacrifice. When you live this way, relationships begin to change. People who once took advantage of your giving nature find that the old patterns no longer work. Those who truly love you rejoice in your growth. They meet you on equal ground. You attract kindness because you expect it, and you expect it because you give it to yourself. The law of love is simple. The vibration you hold within becomes the invitation you extend outward. Living from enoughness also means reclaiming joy. Many people believe they must earn rest or pleasure. But joy is not a luxury, it is fuel. When you allow yourself to rest, you are not being lazy, you are refilling your soul. When you allow yourself to play, you are not being irresponsible, you are reconnecting with life's rhythm. Each time you choose joy, you teach the universe that you are ready for more of it. I often say, self-care is self-respect in action. It is not indulgence. It is maintenance of your inner harmony. Eat because you love your body, not because you fear it. Sleep because you honor your energy, not because you've collapsed. Move because you celebrate life, not because you need to earn it. The difference is subtle but profound. One comes from fear, the other from love. As you go about your day, speak affirmations in ordinary moments. While washing dishes, say, I am grateful for these hands that serve me. While walking, say, each step I take affirms that I am supported. While working, say, I give easily and receive easily. These simple sentences turn the routine into ritual. Every act becomes an expression of love, every breath an affirmation that you are enough. Notice how peace begins to replace anxiety when you stop trying to become someone else. You are no longer running ahead of your own life. You are walking in step with it. The mind quiets, the heart expands. You become content not because you have everything, but because you are everything you need to be in this moment. From that space, all else flows naturally. When you live from enoughness, success no longer means achievement, it means alignment. It is not about doing more, but about being true. Sometimes that means saying no to opportunities that would have once flattered your ego, but now drain your spirit. Other times it means saying yes to something small and tender, a walk, a rest, a creative urge. You begin to live guided by inner peace rather than external applause. The world will still try to tempt you back into its old games. It will whisper, you must do more, have more, prove more. Smile at it gently and answer, I am enough. And I already have everything I need to love and be loved. The world cannot argue with that truth, it can only adjust to it. You may find that your pace slows, your voice softens, your laughter comes more easily. You stop hurrying toward happiness because you are living in it. You stop postponing life for some imagined future where you will finally deserve it. You deserve it now. You always did. Enoughness is not a reward. It is your birthright. When you live from this awareness, you become magnetic. You do not chase opportunities, they find you. You do not beg for love, it flows toward you. You are not striving, you are attracting. People feel the peace that surrounds you and are drawn to it. They may not understand it, but they feel safe in its presence. Your calm becomes contagious. Your confidence heals others without a word. There will still be moments of doubt. The old patterns will whisper, Are you sure you're enough? But you will recognize them for what they are, ghosts of a past belief. You can smile and say, "Thank you for your concern, but I no longer live that way," and the voice will fade. This is mastery, not never hearing the old voice, but no longer obeying it. At night before you sleep, place your hand over your heart and whisper, "I am enough. I did enough today. I am at peace." Feel those words cradle you like a lullaby. The body rests easiest when the mind stops demanding. You have nothing to prove, nothing to fear, nothing to earn. You are safe in your own love. Living from enoughness is not about perfection, it is about presence. It is choosing love over doubt, compassion over comparison, faith over fear. It is remembering again and again that who you are is already sufficient for life's great adventure. And as this truth becomes the rhythm of your days, something remarkable happens. Your love begins to spill over. It touches strangers, softens voices, changes rooms. The peace within you becomes peace around you. That is the quiet miracle of enoughness. It heals the world by healing one heart at a time, beginning with yours. There is a moment in every awakening when the circle completes itself, when self-love, once a fragile seed, blossoms so fully that it begins to overflow. You have learned to remember your worth, to hold your inner child, to speak gently to your mind, to forgive the past, to live from enoughness. And now something beautiful begins to happen. Love that once had to be consciously practiced becomes the atmosphere you breathe. It is no longer something you give or receive. It is what you are. When you love yourself completely, you cannot help but love others. Judgment fades because you no longer see separation. The same divine intelligence that beats your heart beats in every living being. You recognize it in a child's eyes, in the patience of a tree, in the rhythm of the sea. You begin to understand that love was never meant to be sought or earned. It was meant to be expressed. And the more you express it, the more it multiplies. The healed heart does not need to be loud. Its power is in its stillness. You walk into a room and people feel calmer. You speak softly and others begin to listen differently. Your presence becomes a refuge because you carry no judgment, no demand, only acceptance. You become, without trying, a lighthouse for those still wandering in the dark of self-doubt. You do not need to convince them of anything. You need only to live your truth. Love teaches best by example. To become the source of love is not to become saintly or flawless. It is to become transparent to life. You allow love to move through you without obstruction. You no longer block it with fear, resentment, or pride. When challenges arise, you ask, "How can I bring more love here?" When others are unkind, you remind yourself they have forgotten who they are. I will not forget for them. That is how healing spreads from one remembering heart to another. Love is not sentiment, it is intelligence. It knows when to be firm and when to be soft. It knows when to stay and when to walk away. It knows that compassion does not mean compliance. When you live as love, you do not let others misuse you. You set boundaries with grace. You can say no without anger and yes without fear. You trust that truth spoken kindly is an act of love in itself. Every day becomes a prayer of gratitude. You find yourself thanking the sun for shining, the rain for cleansing, the strangers for smiling, even the difficulties for teaching. You realize that everything conspires for your growth, that every event, pleasant or painful, was a messenger leading you home to love. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and begin asking, "What did this come to show me?" This shift changes everything. Life ceases to be something you must survive. It becomes something you participate in joyfully. As love deepens, you begin to bless the past rather than curse it. You see how even the hardest moments were sculpting your compassion. The betrayal that once broke you now serves as your proof of resilience. The loss that once hollowed you became the space through which light could enter. You understand now why forgiveness was necessary, not for them, but for you, so that love could flow unimpeded. The more love you embody, the less you seek it outwardly. You no longer wait for someone to complete you or to tell you you're worthy. You have already heard that from the only voice that matters, your own. You live from fullness, not from hunger. And when love flows between two whole beings, it is not dependency, it is celebration. You meet others not to fill a void, but to share abundance. There is a sacred phrase I often repeat: life loves me, and I love life in return. This is the rhythm of existence itself, the great exchange between giver and receiver, between human and divine. When you align with it, you find that everything begins to cooperate with your well-being. Doors open, help arrives, ideas blossom, health strengthens. Love is the universal currency. It circulates wherever it is allowed. The more freely you give it, the more freely it returns. To live as love means to meet each moment with an open heart, even when it trembles. You may still feel fear or doubt, but love holds them gently, saying, "You belong too." Nothing needs to be rejected. Everything can be embraced. When you live this way, peace becomes your natural climate. The mind quiets because it trusts the heart's wisdom. You no longer need to control every outcome. You simply flow with life, confident that all is unfolding perfectly. Remember, love is not something you must maintain through effort. It is your default setting. The only practice is removing what blocks it: old judgments, grudges, false beliefs. Once they are gone, love shines effortlessly. Just as the sun does not try to shine, you do not need to try to love. You only need to remember that you are the light itself. Now, I invite you to think of the people in your life, the ones you cherish and the ones who challenge you. Bless them all. See them bathed in golden light. Say quietly, "May you be happy. May you be at peace. May you remember who you are." In blessing others, you amplify the love within yourself. What you give, you strengthen. Every thought of goodwill you send into the world returns multiplied. Becoming the source of love does not mean you will never feel pain again. It means pain will no longer define you. It will pass through, not take residence. You will feel it, bless it, release it, and continue shining. You will learn to meet sorrow with the same compassion you once reserved only for joy. For the heart that truly loves makes no distinction between light and shadow. It blesses both as teachers. And one day, without effort, you will notice that your presence itself is healing. People will tell you they feel calmer around you, that your words comfort them, that your smile restores their faith. You will realize that your healing has become their blessing. You have become a conduit for the love that heals all. This is not pride, it is participation in the divine flow. When you live as love, even silence becomes service. A peaceful person blesses the world simply by existing. Every thought of kindness ripples outward, touching those you may never meet. You become part of life's great network of grace, the invisible hands that hold humanity together. Now take a deep breath and place your hand upon your heart. Whisper softly, "I am enough. I am loved. I am love." Feel how the words vibrate through you. Each phrase affirms a stage of your journey, remembering your worth, receiving love, becoming love itself. Let these words anchor in your being. They are not affirmations to reach for, they are descriptions of what you already are. As you go forth from this moment, remember, the work is not to keep becoming someone better, but to keep revealing the love that was always here. Let every breath, every glance, every word carry that awareness. The world does not need more perfection, it needs more love. and love begins with you. You are not the seeker anymore, you are the source. You are not waiting for light, you are shining it. You are not searching for love, you are its embodiment. So stand tall in your enoughness. Walk gently in your compassion. Speak truth with kindness. Live as proof that healing is real, that forgiveness is freedom, that self-love is the bridge to every good thing. And as you do, you will discover that the same life that once seemed to wound you now kneels before you, whispering the truth it has waited for you to remember. You are enough, you are loved, you are love.